Nice to see you.
Likewise, and
Nice to see you.
I'm
Thank
very
you
happy to
for
be here.
thank you for taking the time. Thank you for. So you moved out of Chicago to Costa Rica.
I did.
How did that happen?
Well, I'm asked that question a lot. I was looking to leave Chicago. It was just not suiting my needs and my family needs at the time. And we were looking in Northern California, Marin County, and then got priced out of that a little bit. Then went down to Encinitas, Southern California, and really fell in love. And we're making a move. We were looking at schools, looking at houses.
And when was that?
2020?
2020.
Yeah. And I was actually even working with the Engel and Volkers shop and the licensed partner at the time in Carlsbad to join him. So we went on a vacation to Costa Rica for spring break from a recommendation from a good buddy who had been investing in Costa Rica since college. He went to Ohio State University and met a roommate from Costa Rica,
No way.
random. And the roommate brings him to Costa Rica for one of the breaks, and he fell in love, and the two of them bought a property together for a couple $1,000s and parlayed it into being investors in Las Catalinas and the new marina in Flamingo. Okay, so good story there. But for many years, he was telling me, you got to go. And we went. And we went to a place that was extraordinary. It's a European village that was built in Guanacaste on the ocean.
Where is that?
It's called Las Catalinas. It's south of Papagayo and north of Flamingo, okay?
On the Pacific coast?
On the Pacific coast. And it was a masterpiece.
We have the map there.
Yeah, so if you go up north of Tamarindo, a little bit, like right in there, exactly. And so it's almost like a self-contained European town. No cars, cobblestone streets, very spectacular. And it was interesting because it wasn't really Costa Rica. It was just a cool place. But then when we got out of the surrounding walls and started to explore, that was very interesting. Then we come back from spring break, nice vacation, loved Costa Rica, looking a little harder at Encinitas. And then spring break comes along the following year, and let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back, and that's when the magic happened for me. At the time, my whole family was getting certified for scuba, and I'm already certified, and I don't want to scuba. I'm not a good breather, and I was just super curious, and I wanted to learn and see what the real estate market was. And so they were underwater for 6 hours a day, and that gave me time to go explore.
I'll be right there with you.
Okay, and I got to tell you something. It was so obvious to me that I was standing in a place that was special and that the opportunity was now.
How so then? Why is it special?
Because I saw my background's in finance and numbers and the financial markets.
And how old are you?
I'm 63.
63.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
My dad is 65. My
Okay.
mom is 63.
Okay, cool.
Nice, yeah.
Cool. And so I left the financial markets looking to do real estate projects, build multifamily homes, multifamily units, mixed-use units, renovate houses. I was doing that more as a hobby in the past, and now I want to go do it. So as a result of that, I joined Engel and Volkers, and now I'm in Costa Rica, and I'm standing there, and being a numbers guy, I'm looking at things going, I could buy the land for this, I could build for this, and I could sell it for that. And I was like, if I could prove this to be real, I'm all in. Okay?
You like the spread.
The spread. Hold on. It's all about the spread.
Of course.
Okay? And so I do like the spread. And I had to make sure the spread was legitimate.
Oh, yes.
And, if
sometimes it's not.
Right, exactly. You got to dig, and you're in Costa Rica, and it's a third world country, and you don't know who to believe or who not to believe. You're speaking to people in mixed language because I don't speak Spanish well, and they don't speak English well, but I'm digging and digging, and everything is telling me that this is legit. So I was married at the time, and my family was all part of the consideration. I said to my wife, I'm gonna buy some stuff. It's time. It's staring me in the face. Let's consider pivoting from Encinitas and doing Costa Rica. And that's when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And COVID allowed a reset for everyone on the planet. And I said, let's get out of here. Let's go do this. Let's see what it's like to live in Costa Rica. And we took a house, and I went back and forth. I bought a few properties. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I got beat up a little bit. I'm a gringo. I'm a white guy that looks different than everybody else there, and people took advantage of that. And I was naive. I gave everyone the benefit of the doubt, including people that I'm paying them to represent my best interest. And that's where I got skeptical.
Well, as a broker, you should know that fiduciary duty is kind of important, and it's not to everyone that you give it, or not everyone that deserve it. But also, even if you're contractually obligated to do it, you have to be a real professional to actually give fiduciary duty to someone and actually represent their interests well.
Okay, so you bring up many good points in that. Okay, number one, that's how I live my life. That's how I lived my life personally and professionally. Professionally, I was always responsible, honest, and hardworking, representing my clients in the financial markets, and clearly willing to do the same thing. And here I am thinking that some of these people on the other sides of my conversations, whether they're real estate brokers or they're attorneys or they're architects, are representing themselves the same way, until they're not, until you learn otherwise. And I learned quickly where it wasn't too costly, but as time went on, I'd go back and forth. They'd come sometimes, and eventually we sold everything in Chicago and moved to Costa Rica. We bought a bunch of properties of land. We bought properties that had houses that we were renovating, adding casitas. I didn't want to do one at a time. I wanted to scale, but I needed to get a couple things done. I thought it was uber important to develop a track record and do this myself successfully and prove it to myself and to others before I do it for somebody else. And so I did just that. And I think there's a lot more that we can unpack from that. But how did I get there? I was looking to leave Chicago. Started in Northern California, worked my way down to Southern California, and then I went on vacation after a friend had told me for at least 10 years to go to Costa Rica.
What made you want to leave Chicago?
It was, we were living in a beautiful suburb, beautiful house, great school, and it
Sounds
felt,
nice.
it was nice, but it was a little bubble-like. And
so?
Everybody was kind of the same. And I both myself and my wife at the time, and even my kids, it's not that no one fit in. It just didn't feel natural. Many people spend their whole lives in these suburbs because they're so special, and it's very generational, and they don't leave. I was a little rebellious. I've always been that way. My brother and sister are not. And so, yeah.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest. And, yeah, I've been married twice, and they've been married for 30 years to their spouses. So, and my brother and sister, well, my brother's had the same job his whole life, and he's mastered it.
What does he do?
He now runs a law firm down here in Florida.
Nice.
But he's the boss, my little brother. But and I'm making a joke about it, but he's always had that job. And for me, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've started businesses. I've invested in businesses. I've had different businesses, even while I had a career.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a suburb of Detroit, Michigan, called Bloomfield. I went to the University of Michigan. I moved to Chicago to go to medical school and ended up on the trading floors of the financial markets. So yet again, another pivot. But, it's interesting because
Did you work for Ken Griffin up in Chicago for Citadel? No?
No, but one of my college buddies was his number 6 employee. He's still there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, Ken's big. Ken.
Yeah, they're doing the biggest
Yeah.
office tower
No,
down
I'm very
here.
familiar. I mean, he
$2.5 billion project.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
insane.
He's just getting going.
Oh, yeah, for
No,
sure.
no, he's
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
lot of plans here.
Yeah.
But I talked about this at the event in Miami that we did that we met at. When I went down to the trading floor as this random pivot, if you will, I went there because it was a rainy day and a summer. I was in Chicago and I didn't want to go. I couldn't go to the beach and I didn't want to go to the museum or do something, responsible. My dad said, "Why don't you go look up my roommate from college, and he's on the trading floor." And I went there, and it was almost the same feeling I had when I went to Costa Rica. And it was actually, and it was very apparent that this feeling was real, and it was loud and clear that I was in the right place at the right time and where I was supposed to be. And so I felt that then, and it turned out to be a great run for me, and I had great success and enjoyed it a lot and did well there. And then when I got to Costa Rica and I'm out there exploring by myself, I just stood there and I had that same feeling. And, I haven't looked back since.
It's funny how sometimes you kind of know, right? How you because the gut feeling is. I don't think it's all bullshit.
No, but like, how did you meet your wife?
At the mall.
At the mall. Okay, well, I had. But okay, well, that
We
brings. Yeah, that's not. I guess that's what I meant, but at the same time, you knew,
Yes.
right? I don't know if you knew on the first day or the first 5 minutes or the first week or the first month.
Well, so I came down here in November of 2022. So I was fortunate enough to be on the commercial team in Montreal, which was the beta team for commercial in North America with Engel Volkers in Montreal. And I came down here on a TN visa to help out and set up the commercial division with Engel Volkers in Florida. And I got here full time November of 22, and I met her 1 month after, 12th of December.
Which mall?
Oh yeah, and
which mall?
Oh, Aventura Mall. We met, yeah, because
It's a nice mall.
she didn't want to. She didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want nothing to do with me. And then she said, "Oh, I need to go shop for this event. You can maybe come with me." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then she came in this little Miata, and then she told me to wait. She was on the phone. Well, okay. Well, I did that more. And then we met at 1, and I think it lasted like 9 hours, 10 hours. We shopped for the thing. I ended up picking up the outfit that she chose. Then we went for dinner. Then yeah, and then it was just completely different of anything I saw before, and yeah, I kind of
So you kind of knew.
yeah, I kind of knew. I pursued.
Exactly. So that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have those feelings, those epiphanies, whatever you want to call them, often. But if you're fortunate like me, and it sounds like you, when you have it, you know what it feels like. And it's not something you expect or hope. It just happens. And I definitely wasn't thinking ever about moving to Costa Rica.
No, I was not thinking about moving here
Right.
either.
Okay.
Although I did came here for the first time in for a cruise with my family in 2017, and when I got down in the port at the port on January 7th or whatever, and it was 85 degrees or something like, I was like, wow.
Right. You're coming from Montreal.
I come in from minus 20 in
yeah.
Montreal. It's,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that was a consideration for me
It's
too,
very, very
right? Because
different.
I was leaving Chicago and we got some ugly winters. But yeah, so I get it, and I'm glad you do too. So yeah, that got me to Costa Rica, and I literally, once I got there full time, I lived for 4 years. You have to come back. You gotta, until you're a resident, you have to leave the country for your passport. But for 1 year, I was living in Costa Rica by myself, and I was just going back and forth. And once I started the construction on the houses, I was bringing some materials because I couldn't find the materials that were the highest, a level of standard in which I was constructing and finishing the house. So I wanted everything to be right. Again, I'm doing this as a test for my future, and I want this to be right. I want it, at the end of the day, I wanted whoever bought this spec house to be happy and to have a nice life there. And so that's really all I was focusing on at the time. But boy, I was taking duffel bags and duffel bags filled with plumbing fixtures and ceiling fans. And it was grueling. But, I knew I had to do it.
Well, there's some downside with less industrialized country. There's things we take for granted, and
Yeah.
like electricity, running water.
It's funny, it's funny you bring that up, and you were clearly at the event. One of the things that I learned very quickly was, you don't always get that shower or the air condition. And, a paved road is a delicacy because, water and electricity are sometimes difficult with A, the infrastructure, and B, the weather. And so you're always out, out of power. Your water's out because the water needs electricity. And in the beginning, it would frustrate me. And then by the time I got used to it, it was like not a big deal. And at the end, like in the last couple of years, there was times I'd go buy a 5-gallon jug of water knowing that I wasn't going to have water or electricity for a few days. And my dogs use that. I use that to drink. I use that to shower. I use that to flush the toilet. And I never bitched about it. But like I'm thinking as an American living in this fancy suburb, if my water or electricity went out, I'd go crazy. And now I'm okay with it going days. And so that's when I knew good things were happening.
How is the situation in Chicago in the 22? Is there? Because I hear a lot of crime problem over there. How's everything down there?
Crime, like now, it's funny. I'm living there, and I haven't seen any of this ICE stuff that you see on the news. I haven't seen any of it, so I don't know. Crime is. It's never affected me. I've never seen it. When I got there in the 80s, it was a little more sketchy, but now I've never thought about crime. I'm aware, but it's never been a concern. And to be honest, here I am living in a third world country, and never once did I worry about crime. Never once did I see anything terrible happen. And so
It looked pretty safe when we were there We didn't see any problem at all. The people were nice. There was no, it was not sketchy at all.
Yeah, it's sketchy when you're just unsure of your surroundings sometimes, but there is cartel there. I don't see it. I know because I read and I hear, but it's never been a concern. And now being in Chicago, or back then being in Chicago, never once did I think about crime.
Hmm. And what's the industries in Costa Rica? What are they known for except for the jungle?
Well, ecotourism is a really big thing. It's not only it's supported by the government. It's a program in the universities where a lot of people go to learn because so many tourists are coming and so many companies are hiring, people to work, Costa Rican people to work. So that was a built-in job for many people. Right now, I think the hottest industry is medical tourism. People are going to Costa Rica for alternative medical services and for spiritual opportunities with ceremonies and plant-based medicines and the whole. They look at medicine very different, and they're very open and welcoming to the spiritual sides of things. And for me, the spiritual was an intention, but I didn't realize how important it was going to be because it helped me make the connection between the earth, my soul, myself, and the spirituality. And so I think a lot of people are hearing about that and seeking that because they're caught up in their day-to-day life. It's almost like on a treadmill or a hamster wheel. And I was that person. And, shame on a lot of other people that didn't take advantage of COVID because it gave all of us the opportunity to make a change. And so I did.
It was a big pause. We were locked up for 3 years almost. Twice curfew.
In Canada.
Yeah.
Brutal. I know.
Yeah. It was.
And I was in Costa Rica, and that Costa Rica's got a big population of Canadians, and my Canadian friends were either stuck or complaining that family members and friends, are locked.
It was brutal.
It was you were locked. It was a little bit different for us, but people were very frustrated about that. Yeah.
It was brutal. We had the vaccine passport. They tried to put the mandate the vaccine passport to go grocery shopping.
How do you do that? Like you show your card to get into the grocery store?
Yes. They did it for restaurant. They did it for gyms. They did it for many work. They tried to push it for pharmacy and grocery shopping.
Well, maybe that's the reason that there's more Canadians than Americans in Costa Rica. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. But then, how did you transfer from being you were trading stock? Is that
not stock? I was trading. I was trading on the floor. I was trading currencies. Well, in the pits on the trading floor, where.
In the New York Stock Exchange?
Well, I was in Chicago. I wasn't trading stocks. I was trading futures, options, and currencies. Okay, so I've never traded stocks. And you're in a pit of people that are screaming and buying and selling, and it's complete craziness. Yeah.
And you were attracted to that?
It was a sport. It was, yeah, it was adrenaline. It was, and oh my God, I just kept making money. And I was like, wow, what happened? And so, yeah, that was great for many years, for, 17, 15. And then the computer came in and things changed. And that it changed the market. And then government rules came in and made some unfortunate changes, not necessarily for the better, and that impacted my little world of options, derivatives, and things like that. So the writing was on the wall for me. And yeah, it was time to go. And I had a great run, but I knew that my passion and my hobby was renovating houses, building, and real estate. I'm a photographer, so art and the creative side is something that I've always gravitated to.
How so? What kind of photography you like to take? What's your angle?
Well, right now I'm doing something. I'm doing real estate photography, which isn't overly exciting. But in the past, and living in Costa Rica, every day is a photo opportunity, right? And I took my camera almost everywhere I went. I lived, on the beach, and so I was always taking photos of sunsets and sunrises and surfing and fishing, and then, driving. And my gosh, I wake up every morning to howler monkeys and birds. So it's like you just start taking pictures, and next thing you know, it's lunchtime. Exactly. And then I've also raised children, and they've been active from vacation to sports teams and things like that. So I was always that guy taking the photos, and I have tens of thousands of them. And many times the kids were annoyed that I was always making them smile and, come on, Dad. And now that, 3 of my children are adults, they're so grateful that they have all these cute, fun pictures. So I don't, I just love taking photos. And I don't know if this is true for you, but I was intimidated by videos. I mastered the photo. I'm pretty good with Photoshop. I got, pretty good equipment, and I'm watching videos come on. And that, as an older guy, kind of set in my way and in my comfort zone. I spent too long, years, pushing back and not willing to jump into doing something difficult, and that was to learn how to do videos, take videos, edit videos, and so I'm in the mix right now, and I'm getting there, and so part of the excitement is getting better and learning more, and so it's every day is an opportunity.
That's true.
In life, not just photos, right, and videos, and so I kind of live my life like that. So, yeah, my camera and my drone and my gimbal, they kind of follow me around.
That's good. Well, one of the best advice that I've ever heard is from Jordan Peterson. He said, "You can be so much more than you are right now, and that's okay." Because
yeah, exactly.
Because and then it's been true for me so far. And then whichever rate of progress that I'm making is like, there's so much more that you can be refined at. You can learn more. You can get better in doing and selling and being a better husband, a better entrepreneur, a better father, a better person. You can be so much more. But then it's good because, whatever happened that got you here, what kind of work you did. And then if you're proud of the work that you've done, it's okay that sometimes you come up short. Sometimes you just
yeah, but that's a good point. But I think part of it is the pursuit of perfection. Or for now in my life, I'm okay with doing difficult things. But for most of my life, I stayed in my comfort zone, and so you got to be open to it, right? And you gotta. Yeah, I think it's one of the things that a lot of things changed for me in Costa Rica, but one of them that I'm very proud of is that I'm much more curious, and because everything around me for such a long time, for years in Costa Rica, was something new, especially the wildlife, and I took my sons for a 15-day jungle adventure for their college graduation, and we got into it. We different jungles, but where we spent the most time was down in Osa Peninsula. That's where, oh my God, 6% of the biodiversity, Corcovado. Yeah, we can geek out, okay? And I wish, well, I'll send this to my sons. But I'm a photographer. One of my sons is, and the third one I think would like to be because his brother and his dad are, but not so much. But we geeked out, and we went into the jungle with guides. We went in at night. We went into caves. We went canyoning. And most of these things were new, first time. And so you're curious. And when you're looking at this little poisonous frog and the colors, and you're with a guide or two, and they're so knowledgeable. And all you want to do is like, tell me more about this little frog, And so I'm taking it from 30,000 feet to like 100 feet above sea level, right? But I couldn't get enough. And that opened my mind and it opened my heart. And now with AI, you could just go find out anything about anything. And so it's kind of cool. Curiosity is really, I wish I was more curious earlier on in my life.
It's important to not lose it, I think. I think if you lose it, you stop learning new things.
Yeah.
You stop evolving as a person.
I think. Yeah. And my curiosity elevated because of Costa Rica.
How so?
Well, just because, like I said, there were so many new things, and also some of the psychedelic ceremonies that I was doing. No, they oh my God, they opened my heart, they opened my mind. The level of curiosity after some of these ceremonies was so significantly more. And it was almost like a little bit of a junkie trying to get information and have experiences. It was childlike. And, it took me 60 years, 58 years to get to a level that I wish I was at as a kid. And so, yeah, I guess it's never too late.
No, it's never too late.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm feeding my soul. And I'm trying to have these conversations with my adult children, telling them, all the things that, that have happened to me recently. Just, I want you to have those experiences younger so you get to enjoy them longer. Does that make sense?
It does, but then would you trade your upbringing for something different? I don't know if I don't know.
No, I wouldn't. But, and first of all, how can you, right? Boy, I think I have maybe one or two regrets, and they're not even that big of a deal. But no, I've lived my life and continue to live my life very full. And, another thing is gratitude, right? And boy, there's time when I'm waking up to these monkeys and these birds, and I'm just sitting there smiling and knowing that, in my past life, I was waking up to an alarm, right? It's like, right, traffic, right. And just noise. Yeah.
It is nicer though than to wake up with birds and monkeys than the iPhone alarm.
Yeah, and it sets the tone for the day, right? And so, and then there's no news. Oh my God, how great is that?
But it's
totally more present.
But you said no news. It's funny because feeding your soul, you're going to absorb whatever it is that you're consuming.
Exactly, and I'm consuming beauty and health and just positivity. And prior to that, not so much. And that's a choice. I get it. But when you're surrounded by a bunch of entitled or judgmental people, you act more like them and perhaps less about yourself. I was guilty. I can't speak for others. I can speak for myself.
Well, the good part about the good part about taking responsibility for what's happening to you is that if you're the problem, then you're also the start of the solution.
Without a doubt, you got to take responsibility, and you're the one that needs to make the change if you want something different to happen.
Well, exactly, because then if your action are not representing the change that you want, that you say you want, then it's never going to change. Because you're at the end of the day, you're going to have to change what you're doing if you want to change the end result.
Well, that's hugely important and real. So I don't remember if somebody told me or I just knew intuitively that moving to Costa Rica, I needed to set some intentions, because without setting intentions, you're kind of lost.
Mm.
And so I set some, and, you know, I don't know what your experience is with spiritual ceremonies and psychedelics, but you're always asked to set intention, and it makes the experience that much more enjoyable when you're focused and you have this intention. But for me, I wanted to be more connected to myself, more connected to nature. I wanted to give up all the drugs that I was taking, you know, prescription drugs, medications, and I did. And so now my life is tinctures and natural herbs, and so yeah, I don't think you just move to Costa Rica and wing it, right? Or any you know, country abroad or change in circumstance like that.
It's kind of a big move.
It's a big move, and not everyone can do it. And you know, I'm having these conversations with clients. You know, I tell my story, and they kind of want to do it because it sounds easy. Well, no, there was nothing easy about it, and it might not be for you. But, you know, why don't you come? Why don't you rent? Why don't you come for a year? The schools will let you come in with the kids. If it works and you like it, you stay.
Yeah, because
try it.
You brought the immigration specialist. It was not that hard or costly to be able to do it, to actually do the move.
No, a lot of people do it. A lot of people do it. The schools are supportive of it. The government is supportive of it with the visa. And some people can't stay, doesn't work for them. And some people never leave. But for me, you know, I have all kinds of clients that are looking for investment, for appreciation, return on investment. But at the end of the day, the box that everybody wants to check is to slow down and appreciate their surroundings more. And it's less about the money and the financial part.
Well, slowing down and recenter, I think, is important in the sense that vibrations are real. You know, sometimes you see your body and it's just oozing of weird energy, and then it's very difficult to kind of control a little bit. And when you're in the woods or you're in nature, it's because you have kind of the neutral ground of the contrast of the surrounding when you're outside versus your nerve ball of a wreck of a person that's feeding into all of those negative things, and because we're bombarded with so many things that it's just impossible to follow it all.
Totally. But it's not just your energy. It's clearly the energy you're sending, but it's the energy you're receiving. And when you're take yourself out of I don't know, I don't want to say toxic, because my life in Chicago suburbs was very desirable, and I'm very grateful for that. But it was noisy. There was clutter. And then going to Costa Rica, it was calm. It was balanced. It was different, and it takes adjustment. But when you're giving off a different vibe and a different energy, you're attracting a different vibe and energy. And that was probably the most noticeable thing for me while I was there, and it's beyond noticeable for me now that I'm back here for a while, when I'm seeing people, family, friends, colleagues that I haven't seen, and they're looking at me like something's different. And like they're not saying it, but I could see it. And yeah, something's different. I'm sending off different energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I like this version of myself better. And well, I'll share something very interesting. I have twin boys that are 24, and I was having dinner with one of them and his girlfriend and another girlfriend of mine maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I said, you know what, I think I need to come back to Chicago for an extended stay. And he looks at me and he goes, Dad, you've worked so hard and developed so many tools and practices to be a better version of yourself. Make sure you bring those tools with you, because it's so easy to get caught back up. Like even when I landed in Miami and I had to deal with that electric rent-a-car, and it was just like, and then I get on 95 and I'm getting cut off and people, it's like,
Chaos everywhere.
Right, exactly.
Chaos everywhere.
And I've already been in Chicago for all these months, but it triggered me. And you're more sensitive to those things when in the past it was just normal and that was every day and that's my life.
Yeah, well, you get used to whatever
Totally.
amount of stimulus you get.
Right. So
You get used to it very fast.
you
and
have a
don't even
choice. You want to get
notice.
off the hamster wheel? Go ahead. Or stay on it.
But you said your friend that came to the event that did the documentary. You said they were
Okay,
they've
so
been
wait.
investing in Costa Rica
Hold on.
for many years.
Not my friend. How about that? Wait
Oh,
till you
okay.
hear how I know him. So my brother moved to Miami, I don't know, 30 years ago. I'm not even doing the math, but a long time ago. And early on, he met some really good people, friends and his best friends today. Guys, girls, husbands, wives, kids all went to school together. And one of them is, I've befriended some of them, and we've kept in touch because I've come to spend time here a lot and so on. And when I came back this last time, knowing that I wanted to reach back out to people that I used to know and let them know I was living in Costa Rica because I lost touch. You lost touch with me. I lost touch with you. I'm back. I'm working in real estate at Engel and Volkers, blah, blah, blah. I sent emails to all these people. And this guy named Mark responds to an email that I sent a month ago and says, hey, man, I didn't know you were living in Costa Rica. I've been taking my family to Playa Grande for 20 years. And I go, dude, I live in Playa Grande. Like, I've never even seen you. How funny is that? I go, I live there. And he goes, oh, well, and this is all by email. So he tells me his uncle has been developing eco lodges for 30 years in Costa Rica. And I said, wow, he's a guy that I want to meet. I want to talk to him. I'm so curious about his journey and how it all
What's
went.
the eco lodge? What do they do?
Yeah, exactly. And it's when we talk about Stephen, his son, we'll talk Eco Lodge on steroids, turbocharged, right? But people are building little compounds in Costa Rica. It's very common, a house, some casitas, some fruit trees, some chickens, where you're living off the land and it's very natural. And so he built communities like this. And so I go on a Zoom with this guy. He's 80 years old. You saw him. His hair's like the Nutty Professor, and I love this guy. Okay, we had such a great Zoom. I didn't want to hang up. And then he tells me about his son, and I go, wait, your son did the documentary with Zac Efron. He said, I know that documentary. I said, that inspired me to go to Costa Rica. Okay? I said, that's unbelievable. And he goes, the old man says, Norman, and I love Norman. Oh my God, I'm going to send this to Norman. I said, that inspired me. I'd like to meet your son. And he says to me, it just might happen. I have a medical issue that I'm dealing with, and Stephen's coming in for a week, next week. I said, Norman, you need to come, and you need to bring Stephen to my roadshow for Costa Rica. And I put the video of the Netflix video of Stephen and Zach Efron in our group chat for all of our brokers and advisors in Costa Rica at Engel and Volkers. I shared it with a bunch of people that I invited, and one guy in Costa Rica said he single-handedly was responsible for me and my family moving. And then the licensed partner in Costa Rica, Dawn Wolf, she says in the chat, I took a permaculture class with him in 2020. I spent 10 days with this guy. He knows me. I love him, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it all went down. And I went and rewatched the Netflix, and then I reached back out to Norm. I said, Norman, I have a lot more questions. And I knew I needed to ask him before he came to the event. And he started telling me about what all these projects were in more detail, and about Stephen's project that he's working on now just outside of Nosara, where he just bought 100 acres. So he's scaling this thing up significantly. So he's now my friend, but he wasn't my friend at the time. He walked in, and I knew exactly who he was because that was his dad, and I knew his dad, and I knew him from the video, and we got to spend some time talking. And as you saw, I gave him a few minutes to chat, but he's in high demand. People are very curious about what he's doing, how he's doing it, and people are gravitating to him for what he's doing, how he's doing it, and his energy. And so, yeah, when he walked in, I got goosebumps. and it's all because a friend's uncle and friend's cousin.
It's funny how life works sometimes.
Right?
Yes.
You asked me a simple question, but I had to give you the whole answer because it's a story that's real.
And then how do you see the future for what you're doing down there versus your network in Chicago versus what you were doing before? How do you see this expanding into?
Well, that's a good question. It became obvious to me about 2 years ago that the value that I could bring, I clearly wanted to bring people to Costa Rica to experience life, to invest, to buy, to live. And I said to you earlier, if I was going to do that, I had to do it for myself first. But I also have the absolute luxury of working for Engel and Volkers. And it's a luxury global real estate firm. And so I took it upon myself to say, okay, I have this opportunity where I can promote Costa Rica to all the advisors in our shops in all the markets around the world that fly to Costa Rica, and promote Costa Rica, share my stories, share my listings, share my experiences, and create a very streamlined referral process, and say to them, bring your clients, promote with me and make some money. And, and because not only did I create this marketing campaign, it was an overwhelming response with the people that I was sending my newsletters and my emails, and you know what Rosora is, and they were opening them at a 3 to 4 times industry standard rate. So I'm like, I'm onto something. And that's when it all started. People from, Germany, from Canada were replying to me saying, I got a friend. Can you help my friend buy a place? Can you help him sell a place? And it's, it continues to grow. And I think I'm now spending more time with FaceTime with advisors and going into these shops and doing the roadshows, and they're more intimate, they're more engaging, they're, I think, more powerful, if you will. But I've kind of put myself in a position to be the face of Costa Rica for all things Engel and Volkers. And it's a little bit of a niche that I've created. I'm something I'm passionate about and proud of, and I've taken full advantage of this network that we have. And I've met some incredible private office, licensed partner, advisor people from all over the world, and I know that if anyone in their sphere, farm, whatever, has any interest in Costa Rica, they're calling me. And that was my goal.
Well, it's funny because it kind of is similar to how I was thinking about kind of organizing our network, in the sense that I think that we can have a very interesting reach, and in the sense that we could have a large distribution in putting the right deals in front of the right investors in the right market. And then if we can organize the key people in each market, we can distribute properties and investment opportunities to a very large network of places and investors in the world. And that's cool. That's
It's powerful.
Yes.
And it's special. It's unique. This doesn't exist in Sotheby's, Christie's, other global luxury brands. This is a opportunity for all of us, and I talk about this with advisors and licensed partners and private office people regularly. I talked about it 5 times in the 2 hours during the event. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of trust, a lot of respect. There's a lot of kindness. There's a lot of professionalism. I've never been around so many, you're not seeing me, but I'm using quotes, good people. It's rough out there, okay? There's not that many good people, and somehow there's a large number of them in the Engel and Volkers family.
What's a good people?
People that you can have productive and concrete conversations, somebody you could trust by making a referral and introduction, somebody that's going to say what they do and do what they say. Right?
Tough one.
Exactly.
That's it. It's so funny how the basic things, right, are so important. Like say what you mean, and then do it.
Right. We all grew up with parents that taught us certain ways to do things. They got lost as, in society. I mean, I still hold the door and open the car door for, well, I don't have a wife, but anybody, any woman, right? And that's like old fashioned. And, speaking of which, one of the things that some of our advisors do, and they do it very successfully, and it's something that's promoted within the Engel and Volkers group, is write handwritten letters, right? It's old school too. You don't see, right? Oh, totally, right? Everyone's texting, everyone's sending a message, a DM on Instagram, or sending an email. But I want you guys to, wherever you're going to go for over the weekend, I want you to see on how people open the door, they don't. Just little things where our society has kind of drifted away from goodness and kindness and just got into, what's best for me and rushing, and I got to hurry up and get my Starbucks and blah, blah, blah. And just take a second. And I'm finding that type of connection and relationship with so many of these people in Engel and Volkers. And listen, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for 5 years, but it's only getting better and becoming stronger and more apparent to me.
How so?
Because I keep meeting good people, and it's the traction that I'm getting and the responses and I'm in communication with these people. It's not like I say hello and take a few minutes to get to know them, but I keep in touch with them. I mean, Giuseppe, who came in from Toronto, he told me he was coming. I thought he was full of shit. Okay? And then he showed up. I'm like, dude. He goes, no, I flew in just now, and I leave at,
Leaves
at
tonight
6
at 9.
o'clock. And I said, you came in for me. And he goes, yes, I said I was going to. I said, oh, wow.
That's more rare, though. Rare.
Yes, but when there's openings of shops, when there's events, there's a lot of people getting on planes and supporting each other, I have to say. You know, I have the fortune of working for two women that are part of private office, and I see the power of that piece of the network and the support that they have for each other. And it trickles down, and it's nice. It's refreshing.
The private office with EV is interesting. An interesting distinction in the sense that you need to be accepted and you need to show result, and you need to show result for a long time before you even consider it. And it's very restrictive in the number, and you know
Exactly.
because the private office are going to be referred in priority for all of the high net worth individuals, celebrities, and things like that.
It's elite and it's special. And all the people I met and all the people that I know that are part of it are special. And they're filmmakers, documentary folks that have done award-winning Netflix and National Geographic. But they were there this last trip for 18 months filming big cats, okay? And
In the jungle?
in the jungle by no, you're not going to believe where they were. Not in a place that you would think. Witches Rock, where the surfing is. There's a whole area there, and I don't think the documentary's out yet, but it will be. So keep your eye open.
What's the documentary?
It's about the big cats of Costa Rica, but this is their second. This is their second or third documentary that they've done in Costa Rica. Okay, so you want to check them out. And if I remember, I'll send you one of the guys' Instagrams.
Who did it?
Guys that were living where I now live. They lived there for 18 months, and I couldn't move in until they moved out. But they were just finishing up. But I kept asking my friend that owns everything, let me get out there with them. And he kept asking. They never said yes. And at the end, they had to go back and get all their cameras that they had left into the jungle because the camera traps, right?
Like the hunting gear?
Well, no, the cameras. You know, the night vision cameras.
No, but they're similar with the hunting cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So they finally said yes, and we couldn't line it up. I was so excited just to go in with them and just be with them and ask questions about how, like.
Yeah, we're gonna be very in tune with the surroundings.
Right. How about safety? I mean, these guys, you're on their turf, and they're hungry, or you do the wrong thing. But anyway, keep an eye out for I think it's called Big Cats.
Then that one I've definitely heard of. So
And then there's another one that they've done that's like babies of like chicks or something like that. But it's all on Netflix.
yeah, I know we met some people. I think they were specifically with reptiles. Is it herpetologists or something like that? And they were out there studying for like months, just wandering off in the jungles.
In Costa Rica, when we went?
We were talking about the night hiking and being
In
out
the
there
jungle
with
and Corcovado.
and
Ooh.
seeing all the things that can kill you in the night.
Right.
Well,
And wait.
those jungles are very
not,
unwelcoming.
Hold on. And not saying all the things that could kill you, right? Like it's so black and you have no idea what's in front of you, right? And you're on their turf.
It gives you another perspective, though, when you see like just darkness.
Yeah.
You realize if you're afraid of the dark or not, you're tested right there.
Exactly. Michael, how did you, like, you said you grew up in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
How was that like?
So now that I look back, like standard, like for me it was upper middle class. Which was nice, but everything was kind of you were in a lane, and if you didn't leave after college, you stayed and you never left. And for me, I went to Chicago 3 days after I graduated. But growing up there, boy, I had a lot of friends. I got a good education. I still have friends. It's so much better now going back because Detroit has been built up. The city is.
They had a rough time for a little while. No?
I wasn't allowed to go down there. as a kid, unless I went with my dad to like a sporting event. But now my niece got married there this last summer.
Wait, so as a kid, you were not allowed to go by yourself in Detroit?
Exactly. And that brings up another story. I have some good stories. Okay, so this is I already told you how old I was, so that's no secret. Okay, so this is 1978.
You want to be honest.
Hold on, you weren't born.
No.
Right.
No,
Neither were you.
92 for me.
Exactly. Oh, my God. Okay, but you can Google this. It's still a good story, and you'll appreciate it. Okay, 1978, I'm in, I think, my sophomore or junior year in high school, and I have two friends that have been turning me on to music and weed since ninth grade. Like just
Ninth grade.
like doing the things you're supposed to be doing
yeah,
at that age, right?
That's
Exactly. So I don't know if it was early or late, but it was what I was doing. And they were turning me on to music. And I was really enjoying, at the time, it was called New Wave.
Okay.
Okay, so look it up because you probably don't. Like, you might not even know what a facsimile is, right? Because my kids don't.
A facsimile? No.
It's a fax.
Oh, a fax. Yes,
Yeah.
I know what a fax is.
Right, and you don't even know what a dial phone is or anything.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm making a joke. But anyway, so so this is 1978. I think it was 78. And my two friends, and they were way ahead of themselves in music, they say to me, listen, I think we should get a fake ID, and I think we should go to sneak down to Detroit. There's a band coming. I said, oh, God, I got to get a fake ID. I got to lie to my parents. Okay, I'm in. And we go. It was sketchy. We go down an alley, scared, because I'm not supposed to be there, and it is sketchy.
Also,
We
you're
go-
16.
I'm 16, 17, right? I'm doing everything I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, right?
Yep.
And so then we go into this downstairs. We go in, and we walk into this little room. There might have been 50 people, maybe 100, not 100. And we wait around, and this cute blonde comes out, and she's the backup band. And she starts singing. And I'm maybe a little further away than I am from you right now, and I'm just staring at her, and she's cute, and she's singing and bopping around, and all good. And she was the backup band, and then more people came, and it got more crowded, and then the next group came, and it was like three boys, wait till you hear, boys in suits that looked like the Beatles.
Okay.
And it happened to be Blondie and the Police. Okay? The Police just came to the United States to release Roxanne.
Okay.
Okay? So here I was. I had no idea at the time, right? But I've told this story 1,000 times. I'm seeing Blondie and the Police with 100 people in a dingy bar in Detroit. And that was my my start for live music. That changed my life. That was an epic experience. And the funny thing about that story, one of the guys went on to be one of the original MTV music videographers, making all the dance videos in the 80s and 90s. And the other one was the head curator at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for 17 years.
Oh, no way.
Right. So what foreshadowing, right? The Police, Blondie, future rock and roll, epic people. And here we were, just high school teenagers doing what we weren't supposed to be doing. Good story, though.
What kind of music are you into now?
I am an avid music fan, and I listen to everything. If you went on
Like the
my
new stuff?
Spotify, I don't listen to pop, but I listen to alternative rock, 80s rock. I listen to Bach every morning as part of before my meditative breath work. I listen to jazz. I listen to spiritual, different, vibration and spiritual music. I listen to trap.
What's trap?
Trap is like a heavier rap.
Okay.
I mean, I am as curious and as open as I am in my life. I'm as open in my music interest. And if you looked at my Spotify music list, you would be confused.
I think, yeah, you'd be confused looking at mine too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that says a lot.
Well, it's funny. It's good that you said Bach, because well, for me it's Vivaldi. I like Four Season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard on a podcast that of you know what the podcast was? It was Smartless. Do you know Smartless? Do you know? Okay, so do you know Jason Bateman? He was
Yep.
the star in Ozark.
Yep.
Okay,
It was a good show.
great show. My brother's watching it right now, and I sat with him for a season 3 episode, and I was like, oh boy,
You got a
to
long
see-
way coming.
wait till you see what happens.
Did you watch the Guinness new Guinness show from the Guinness family? It's on Netflix.
No, but I
think.
did. I just finished Black Rabbit. That's Jason Bateman's new Jude Law Netflix show. That was killer.
Oh yeah.
So his wife. So it's Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. 3, popular music or comedians, movie star guys. They have great banter. It's a great show, and one of the guests was Jason Bateman's wife in Ozark. And she was talking about, she's very humble and talking about her life, and
Very good actress, that one.
she's great. And this is why I'm listening to Bach, because she said, well, I remember in a lecture in college with the professor in a film class telling me, and she said the guy's name, and I wrote it down, and he's a famous playwright, and I can't recall his name. If you listen to Bach for 10 minutes a day, your mind will always be sharp. And so I'm like, wow, I never even listened to Bach. Next thing I know, every day, 10 minutes, I haven't missed a day in over a year. So I'm open though for music. It's whatever my mood is. I miss live music being in Costa Rica, concerts and music venues.
There's not a lot of
Not
that
the same.
over there. No.
There's a lot of musicians playing cover music, cover bands, but no, it's
It's pretty incredible though, the live action that we get all around here, the shows and all of this industry that we have, like comedy.
totally.
Live things I think is something that is very important. It's a weird connection that.
Yeah, but you got to find
there.
something that takes you away from, we started this by talking about reality and talking about, looking, everyone's view is different, right? And
Yes.
so we all have to have something, whether it's exercise or meditation or music, that helps us escape that or keep us focused in it.
Well, also, for me, if I tire my body, the more I tire my body, the more clear my mind is going to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
the workout, the jiu-jitsu, like I played football. I need to have a lot of exercise every day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just go in circle and I vibrate in a weird way, and I don't canalize my energy, and it's just gonna go to waste.
Got it. I feel the same.
But it really is important what you put out, and it's. Do you see, like when you said you were doing breathing exercise? What are you doing?
So I got turned on to a lot of really cool spiritual practices being in Costa Rica and being in Playa Grande. It's very, the spiritual community is very strong.
Were you religious when you grew up?
No. But surfing, yoga, and spirituality, plant-based medicines, and ceremonies are kind of the jam in Playa Grande. And so
Is that a big industry over there?
it's not an industry. It's more of just a community. It's very, it's pretty low key, but everybody's doing it. And so I became friends. If you recall my story about scuba diving, I didn't
said
want
you
to
didn't
scuba
like it.
dive because I'm not a good breather.
How does that mean?
If the three of us went scuba diving, I would be halfway through my tank or almost finished with it when you guys were just,
Oh,
at
you're
the
breathing
beginning.
too fast.
I'm not a good breather. And it's interesting because I was a runner up until maybe 10 years ago when I had a hip replacement, but I was never a good breather. So when my friend was telling me about the breath work, I initially gravitated to doing some breath work with him to become a better breather. What I realized very quickly was the meditative component of it. So when you combine the two, it's a win-win. And for me, it was a huge victory and a great part of a regiment that I now practice every day. And he turned me on to a few different people that lead breath work on YouTube. And one of them is a guy called Sandy, Sandy. If you go on YouTube and Google him,
Can you pull up
he's
this
got hundreds, if not thousands, of short and long breath work meditations. Some are beginner, some are intermediate, some are advanced. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy it and how much it's benefited me. And so I literally do, I do Bach, I do my coffee, I do my breath work, and then I play on my phone.
But when you do the breathing exercise,
Yeah.
what does that look like?
So I'm pretty exclusive to Sandy because I like it because he's very structured, and he guides you as opposed to giving you instruction and letting you do it on your own. I like to stay like tight with the program, and he typically does. I do 15 to 20 minutes long. I usually do beginner to intermediate. Advanced breath work is longer. 30 to 60 minutes, but you'll do 3 different series. You'll have some repetition, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, but there's always breath holds. Those breath holds go from 30 seconds to anywhere, 30, a minute, minute and a half. I'm up to 3 minutes now, and I couldn't even hold my breath for 45, 50 seconds before. But it's not even anymore about the breathing. It's about the other benefits of the breath work and how much oxygen's going into your blood and what it's doing to your mind. And yeah, so Sandy is my buddy. Bach is my go-to jam. And then I rock out later.
But it does make a difference.
Yeah, there he is. That's him. That's my guy.
That's him. And then so
He's usually in like Thailand, and he also brings in people that play some of the different instruments. It's beautiful. Yeah, give it a shot. It's cool. But there's hundreds of them, and it's free.
do you think that it helps in controlling like your stress level and things like that?
1,000%. Absolutely. You can. I do the breath work as part of my morning ritual, but he always says, go do it any time of the day. Do it again. But at the end of every session, he always says, remember to breathe and remember to laugh.
Yes.
Okay? Remember to breathe and remember to laugh. So if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad moment, you're stressed, he's a go-to guy. And you do it sitting up, doing it laying down, do it in your car, do it at your office. I mean, some is a little bit more complicated to do unless it's in a private setting, but easy and very rewarding. I love it.
How did you get started with doing that?
A guy in Costa Rica who was very experienced in spirituality, and he and I bonded. And he started leading breathwork ceremonies at his house, and he invited me over, invited some other people over. Then we moved it up a notch, and we went up onto a mountain, and we started doing breathwork with other people, more ceremonial. Then we started getting into more sound healing and rape and other spiritual things, and it just opened up a very crazy world to me. And that's where the curiosity came. Between that and the wildlife, I was just like around things that I've never experienced before in my life. And so not only was I curious, but I was willing to do all of it and experiment and try it, but it was very noticeable to me what it was doing to me, the benefits. So I wanted more. It was like a drug that was healthy.
I think if you go far enough, because I've been reading a little bit, because it's funny that you're saying that you've started to do that, because I started to practice my breathing also, and then the way I do it is I breathe up, then I hold, then I create more space within, then I just go down, and then the deeper I can, and then so do you know what I mean?
That's called box breathing, and that's one style. So if you're continuously doing the same style, and it's working for you, cool. But go check out 100 different styles. Like each one of the meditations are trying to accomplish something else. Some are incorporating breath of fire, which is a much harder, faster breathing that will leave you with energy. Some are for anxiety. Some are for different things. But I think where you'll find the greatest benefit is when you explore diversity and doing different types of breathing. It sounds like you're doing the same type of breathing.
Yes, in a sense, but the way I sketched it lately. So,
but I think they call it box breathing.
Well, box breathing consists of inhaling for a set. No, kind of, but no. Muscle to expand and it's more the diaphragm and breathing, because the reason why. Do you understand what I mean if I tell you like breathe through your dick?
No.
Okay, so for me, how I feel it, it's kind of when you're stressed, right? You're going to have like calluses, and inside is going to be tight. You're going to be stiff, and the way I feel it is a little weird. When I'm stressed, my breath is right here. It's kind of tied in, and then so that helps me in making more space. Like it took me
for the air to flow.
Yeah, it took me many months, like almost a year, to get my breath from here, from the stress of moving and business and things like that, to get it lower. And then the idea is that like when I train and I'm pinned to the ground, and then I have less space, I'm constricted, then I can still, the airflow is still good, because then when your breath is lower than your abdomen, then it's a endless pit down there, because you can
got more space
exactly
to expand.
You have infinite more space to expand. And then we maybe what's the record for the holding breath or whatever? It was 20 minutes or something, like crazy amount of that.
So you guys were down in Uvita.
Yep.
There's a free dive place. Okay, so I follow them on Instagram.
She's free dive.
Oh, you're free diving.
Free
okay.
dive, yes.
So go follow Free Dive Uvita. Okay. And not only are the visuals, as a photographer, you'll love it, but that got me. Exactly. It got me back into the water, right? And wanting to challenge myself more. But what I think you'll like by exploring with Sandy is the variety of experiment with it. Find a few things that you like, and give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah. Well, because as a man, sometimes if you don't control your emotion, it can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's got me in trouble before.
And like the control of the burst of inside emotion sometimes is very, very difficult to contain, and then that practice has helped me a lot. Kind of like control the breathing and the pace of going down and going up, and then because
It's balanced.
yes,
It really is. If you do yoga or you go to the gym, how much better do you feel after you went and did what you were supposed to?
always
Right.
a lot better after.
Exactly.
I've
It's
never
the-
regretted a workout in my life.
Never in my life,
Never.
especially yoga. As much as like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to go. You go, you do it, and you're like, oh, I feel great. It's the same thing with the breath work.
So
And
one of
so-
the thing with the breath work and yoga is that I like to start on my knees, then I get my breath as low as I can, then I hold it there, and then it's very tight. Then I go down on the child pose as deep as I can, and I hold it there. Then I go up, then I hold, then I go down, then I hold. Then I can do that for half an hour, 45 minutes. And then I like when I can't feel my legs no more, then I go on my head, then I'm straight up, and then that helped me find like kind of the alignment, because when you're standing, like breathing up is easy because then you just breathe up to you know it's easy to find north when you're standing, but then when you trying to find south, trying to find alignment in going down with your breath, this is very hard. And then what helped me a lot is when I stand on my head, then I find my balance, then it's much easier to breathe down up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. It's interesting. I never thought about it that way. Yeah.
I've been practicing that a lot lately. It's nice.
Nice.
It's now I'm a few minutes on my head, 5 to 10 minutes I can hold probably.
Wow. Yeah. I remember the first time I got to 2 minutes, I was jumping around. I was all excited. And then when I got to 3, I was texting my boys and my friends, and I was so proud. And, but it's so much less about how long you could hold your breath and so much more about what it's doing for you physically and mentally.
Well, the way I see it is that because your soul and your body is, I don't see it as the same thing. I see it as two different kind of things. And for me, the way I feel it for my body is that when I practice this, and if I control it more, then I have a better grip on my body, on my reality, on kind of on life, and because
Well, it's grounding you.
yes, in a sense.
Yeah.
In a sense.
It's keeping you grounded, keeping you going.
And
staying
then
in your
also
lane.
you feel your body a little more, I think, too.
You're more in touch.
Yes.
You're more connected. It all kind of works, and so that's part of this whole gravitating curiosity and being in Costa Rica. All these new experiences that I wanted to learn more about, and then I started to feel the benefits, and then I was just like, I want more. This feels good. It's making me a better version of me. It feels good for me. Yeah, it's interesting.
And then what kind of project are you developing down there?
I'm not involved in any projects specifically right now other than selling some stuff because I can't manage a project and not be there. It's very hands-on. Everything
Yeah.
I've done, I'm at the job site multiple times a day. So I'm not working on a project. I literally just got a $6.2 million listing that I brought out to the market yesterday. I announced at the event. That'll take some time and the right buyer, but nothing, no projects. I wish I could manage projects from a distance, but not there.
It's difficult when you're not there.
It's I would say it's impossible. And when I tell people that that are going to build a house and buy some land, pay somebody, pay me. I've been paid as a project manager to be your eyes and ears, to hold people accountable, to have meetings with the architects and the contractors and the subs, and weekly, and make sure everyone's doing the right thing, because oh boy, if you've ever built down there, you can't even imagine if you're not keeping your eye on the ball.
Or even here, Whitney,
Well, here too. Yeah,
you were telling me what happened with your project, that everyone was saying that it was supposed to open, and then turned out they don't do
accountability,
temporary
finger pointing. Right, right. But if you're there, you keep everybody in check. But yeah, I look forward to more projects. I enjoy them, and I'll do more for sure.
And then what you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, and I think you're probably one of the best people to ask, both professionally and because you're so tied to the place personally. How or what is the conversation around balancing? Because we want good homes, we want great cities. How are they balancing preserving why everybody is coming there and being able to develop? Like, what are those? Because we have a lot of that here with Miami and the Everglades.
Ooh, you've opened a can of worms.
Yeah, what is that?
Because
Kick it.
well, it's a great question, and it's a complicated answer. First of all, you don't have a master plan in a municipality. Okay, so there's really very loose, if any, restrictions and guidelines, and if there are, there's no one to enforce them. So that's number one. Number two, one of the things I told you that I went to Costa Rica with intentions. One of the intentions I had was to develop and build, but be sensitive to the surroundings, be sensitive to the local community, and I made a conscious effort to do that. Now, I didn't do, big projects. I did individual single-family homes, but in one of my homes, I designed the house around a Guanacaste tree because I didn't want to chop it down. And in the house next door that I built, I had to chop down one of the Guanacastes, and I repurposed the wood for stairs and a countertop. But when you go to some bigger developments, they're much less sensitive about the trees and and preserving the natural environment. And there's rules about the trees where, for me, I went through a formal process and got permits to cut down trees, but most people could care less, and that's sad. And you get a sense of gentrification from the locals and the people coming in and building, because most people are insensitive to, the community, to the people, and they're all about themselves. And fortunately, there's lesser of those people that in some places, and that makes that a more attractive place to go. And Playa Grande, unfortunately, has gotten some people coming in and not caring, and people coming in that are a little bit more entitled and judgmental. And, when I go back, I might think about moving and moving further away into a less developed community. Did that answer?
Yeah, I think so. There's a million ways it can go. I was curious too, like, is the country preserving? There's certain preserves.
Okay.
Touching.
Yeah.
Is it, again, like, I'm not necessarily against development or only environmental. There's a way we can
Okay. So yes, and I'm going to talk about two things. One, the country as a whole, 25% of the country is untouchable. Okay, it's grandfathered. It's untouchable. So biodiversity, the wildlife, the natural conditions. Most people, all Costa Ricans and the government are extremely sensitive to that. But unfortunately, some developers don't care and they don't follow the rules. But there's also something else, and this is unrelated, but it's a question that you haven't asked, but as somebody who builds and does the work, you'll appreciate this. There's lots of different ways to build a house, and in Costa Rica, you have extreme, I say extreme and emphasize, weather conditions, okay? Hot, sun, heat, rain, mud, dirt, all these different things, flow of water. And so people build at really, really different levels. And when I was doing my initial construction, I wanted to build a high quality product. I wanted to push the envelope as far as price point, design, and I accomplished that. And I followed the highest building standard. I follow the same seismic requirement as the state of California because they have earthquakes in Costa Rica. So building with concrete block and rebar is the ultimate way to build. But there's a lot of people that are building as cheap and as inexpensive as possible and selling the houses for the same price. And a lot of the buyers and the brokers are more concerned about the sale and less concerned about what's behind the curtain, if you will, the construction. And what happens is 1 or 2 years into the life of the house, you're seeing the house looking like it's 10 years, 20 years old. And you can't go back and fix some of that.
Those cardboard construction, you see
exactly.
it very, very fast.
You know, and so, listen, I can't control what other people do. I don't necessarily, I care what other people do, but I can't impact that. So I worry about myself, and I'm super sensitive to the environment, super sensitive to the community, to the people. Everywhere I work, I support the local. I contribute my time. I donate. I work at this, give things and money to schools. I clean the beaches. You gotta do that. You gotta give back, and that's how we coexist as very different cultures being there. If you don't, shame on you.
Well, also, I don't know. Some things that I find the more I grow up is that we're mostly much more closer together than we realize. Maybe we don't agree on like how to solve problems, but generally, like we can agree on most things. Like I don't know, like family is important. It's like clean. It's nicer to have a cleaner environment than a very dirty one. It's nicer when it's safe. Things like that. And when we realize that if we work maybe closer together, then maybe we can incentivize people to do good and to help out, and then because if I think that we're kind of all a little selfish or self-centered at the bottom. It's just you're gonna prioritize your benefits towards
Your agenda.
towards most people, and then I think that's fine because in the way I see it is that by prioritizing my interest, then if I can understand your interest, then I can understand how to help you out, and then that benefits me. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Like
but you got to communicate and you got to be open-minded.
Well, of course.
And look at where we are in our country. It's polarized, and so how can two people not be polarized based on it's trickling down all the way down to each one of us, right? And all we have to do is have a conversation, agree to disagree. I learned so much from my 24-year-old boys about life, about sports, about business. They haven't even experienced anything yet, but their perspective, right? And I'm old school. I'm older. Life was different back then. I took a horse and buggy to school. No, but
you walked many miles to go to school.
Do the math. Right. 1978, Blondie, horse and buggy. No, it's not. It's not checking. But no, I wish that was different. But because it's not, and because I've exhausted myself in some situations, I'm keep more to myself.
What kind of kid were you when you were growing up?
It's a good question. I was social, a little bit of a troublemaker, good student, good grades, but social. I was an entrepreneur. I had little businesses. I
What was the
worked.
first one? How did you get started?
I was trading things probably at like 8 or 10 years old. Like, yeah, I traded things, and yeah, I don't remember, but I just remember hustling, having a job, and yeah, I was definitely, I was the oldest. I was probably the more difficult of the three of us. And looking back and watching my brother and sister's lives being more of a straight line and mine more of a zigzag and an up and a down. But at the end of the day, our values are aligned. We're kind. We love our family. We work hard. Yeah.
Family is it's it's so important that it's cliche to just say that's so important. It's just because getting down to earth and being present, I think, is one thing that we kind of lost. It's and then this is one of the cool things that I like to do here is that phones are off. We're just talking. We're together and getting to know each other.
Totally.
And it's
I wish there was
fun.
more of it, and that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea. You gave me nothing. You told me, you sent me. No, not really. And like people are asking me, why are you fucking driving to Fort Lauderdale on a Friday afternoon at 2:00? I go, I'm curious. I like this guy. I like these people, and yeah, I'm enjoying the connection and I appreciate it. But I could have easily not come.
Yes.
I could have easily come with an agenda or an opinion, right? I mean, people are like that, but really, it goes back to what you just said. We're a lot more aligned than any of us want to admit.
I think so.
We're in a really tough spot right now in the world and in the United States, and I don't want to have any political conversation at all. But how do we get out of it? How do we exactly how do we move past this? I don't know. And so that makes me a little sad sometimes, and not so much for me, but for my kids and for my grandkids. I'm going to be a grandfather. My daughter's having a baby.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. And in a month. But like, what's that life going to look like, right? And so, no, she's in she's in Chicago, and that was that's another reason for me to be staying here longer.
So when are you going back to?
I don't know.
to
I don't
Costa
know.
Rica?
I'm
Because you're in
yeah. I was
Florida
waiting. I was waiting on the I was thinking the weather when the weather changes in Chicago, but I have things. I have projects. I have stuff, and I'm really enjoying. And it's been very productive doing these road shows and going to visit the different shops and meeting the different people, because right now in Costa Rica it's a buyer's market, and so I've turned down listings. We have at least 30 exclusive listings. All the brokers have way too many listings. The prices keep getting offered down, and at the end of the day, the best value I can have for myself and for my shop in Costa Rica is to bring buyers. And I don't care one bit about listings. I mean, I took this $6 million listing because who wouldn't? And it's a unique property, and it's going to be fun to market and sell.
Well, sometimes it's more valuable to have the buyer than to have the listing.
In this condition, yes. And me being in the United States and hopping around to the different shops around the country and talking about Costa Rica, absolutely.
Do you still have business in Chicago?
Oh yeah, not enough because I've been removed, and so that's why I told this story about Mark, about me reaching out. I've reached out to 100 people. I got Zoom scheduled. I got coffees. I don't drink alcohol, so I'm meeting people for drinks, and I'm drinking soda water. But I still meet them for drinks because I want to reconnect, tell them what I'm up to, see what they're up to.
Well, that's how. At the end of the day, that's how business is done.
Exactly. And if I knew that I wanted to come back to Chicago, I need to reach out and say, hey, I've been living in Costa Rica. I got some cool stories. What are you up to? Let's reconnect. We've been fond of each other for 10 years, 20 years, whatever. And everybody's been very open to it. It's been cool. It's been fun.
How long are you in the United States for? You don't know?
No, I don't know. I thought I was going to go back in January, and now I'm thinking I might come back to EVX in Miami and stay. I'm enjoying being here right now. I'm more valuable being here right now, and I'll leave it at that.
You kind of spread the word.
Yeah. I mean, life in Costa Rica is fabulous, but it's less productive, and I want to be a little bit more productive, and I got a little antsy in the last couple of years. And so
a little bit like people are saying when they live on an island.
Yeah, exactly. And so now my life moving forward, I'll be living in both. How much time? I haven't got there. I came here initially. I took an Airbnb for 100 days because I wanted to get my residency back because I gave it up for Illinois. I moved out of Chicago. And so I'm still living in an Airbnb. I just kept it. I was like, huh? And I've been here like 6 months. And the lady's like, you keep staying, honey.
No problem.
Yeah, right. Another month? Okay.
Well, this is one of the cool thing about having flexibility in the supply of real estate is that it can accommodate people like you that can, this is one of the cool thing is not having a long-term lease sometimes, because sometimes it accommodate people for 6 months, sometimes a little longer.
You can't imagine how much that resonates. And not only for me personally, but statistically. What do I mean by that? I don't think I'll ever own again. I've had big houses, big
right
mortgages.
now the cost of owning, like if you look at the cost of owning right here versus rent, I think owning is like 50% more.
Well, it's not just here. It's the cost of owning, but it's the fact that you're responsible differently for owning.
Oh, yeah,
and you're
definitely.
being held to a space. When you're renting, you have more freedom, more flexibility.
And then also you immobilize a lot of resources in the equity in the house, because it's not all finance, it's not all leverage.
100%.
And then if you want to get out, it's it's much harder to get out of things. And then sometimes you don't get out with all of what you thought you
Absolutely.
had,
And if you go and look at some numbers that are out recently, you'll see more millionaires renting than ever before.
Well, and then also you're seeing the rental project going up. The amenities that they offer, they're very, very enticing. They're creating great communities.
Absolutely.
And then that's because there is because if you just look at like what's the better investment, is it immobilizing money in a house that I have to pay for, or all of this money I rent, then the cost is a little lower than the down payment that I would have took to put on a house, then I invested somewhere else, then maybe I can make better returns.
Well, that's one way to look at it, right? The fiduciary position that you're taking, weighing out owning versus renting. I'm looking at it a little bit differently and a little bit the same, but for me it allows flexibility.
Well, yeah.
Now, I'm going to live anywhere I want in Costa Rica, and I'm living in Chicago because my daughter's here and my shops are here, but could I go grab an apartment in San Francisco because my boys live there and they're going to be marrying their girlfriends and just kind of move around a little bit more versus my past life where, hey, I had a family, so that was different too. I didn't have the flexibility, but now that I do, I'm taking advantage of it. For many reasons.
But there are people that they've moved all around with their family. I know a few people from Quebec. They moved their family. One guy from Quebec City, Tony, he took during COVID. He took his wife and 3 kids. He says, "We're leaving."
A lot of people did. I did. I moved to Costa Rica.
The guy was a general contractor in Quebec City. Was making $1 million a year with his business. 35 years old, 36 years old, whatever, and mid-30s. He says to his wife, he says, no, no.
Exactly.
We're not staying here. We're leaving. He bought a barber shop down here. Got a he got an investor visa.
Follow your dream.
It's like
You know,
now.
What makes you happy?
Well, the thing is like, are you really going? For me personally, you're not gonna tell me what to do. If I don't agree with your thing, I'm not gonna. That's fine. I'll do my things, and you're not going to tell me that I can't leave my house. I can go in the woods. I can see my family. I can go to work. I can go here. No, no. And then so a lot of people they left. They moved. That's fine. But I'm not gonna leave like that.
You know what? You have a choice, right? And with the world where it is and the world evolving at a faster pace, I think, than ever, you've got to find what works for you. You've got to find happiness. You got to find balance, whatever that looks like, whatever cost that is. I think you just got to find it.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that the move, like it was probably the hardest 3 years that I've trying to get settled here. Very difficult trying to still like complete my assignment, my file in Montreal. Still have investor looking for properties. Still doing some work over there. Very difficult to do both at the same time and to manage it all. But the crazy thing is that like it took all of my resources to be able to sustain and to be able to be here. But I was extremely rewarded because as soon as I came here, I met her, and now we're married, and I could not have been more lucky than
Okay, but you went through something that was difficult to get something great, and it's really what I'm guessing you're happy. You sound happy. You
Yes.
look happy. But that's kind right, and that's all that matters. She's happy. But that's my point. Find it. Whatever the cost is. It wasn't easy for you. But if it was easy for you, wouldn't everybody be doing it?
Yeah, and also would it be worth it if it was no.
No.
Yeah. No, because the easy sometimes is a trap.
Easy's a trap. I did easy way too many times.
Huh?
I did easy too many times. I got trapped. There's no easy.
It's so easy to not make to not do the next rep, to not make the next phone calls, to
Exactly.
not see this other guy that wants to see you in the late afternoon because he wants to talk to you. But no, it's so easy to not talk to someone for years. It's so easy to not go work out, to not eat right. It's so
Dude, I drove an hour and a half to get here. Okay? And I got to drive to Miami for dinner. That's going to take me 2 hours to get to the restaurant. So who are you talking to? Right? Exactly. But I felt something. I was interested. I was curious.
Well, I'm
I
very
was
happy that I
intrigued.
made you feel something.
Yeah, no. And that's why I'm here.
Good.
You know? And yeah, I think what time is it?
It's
Yeah, I'm
almost 4:30 now.
Okay, we got a few more minutes.
We've almost for 2 hours now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Is
not
there
bad, right?
anything else you want to ask me? I'm clearly an open book.
Did you play any sports when you were young?
I did. I tried a little bit of everything, and I thought I was really good, but the coaches and my parents never.
They didn't agree.
They didn't agree. But I tried a lot of stuff.
What did you do?
I played baseball. I played baseball. I played tennis. I played football, hockey for a bunch of years. I know you're probably a hockey fan, being a Canadian.
You know,
right?
that's funny. Not at all.
Really?
No, not at
Oh.
all. When I was
Every Canadian I've ever met likes hockey.
see they all because they all played.
Exactly.
I didn't.
I played as a kid. Played less as an adult. I was a runner and a biker, and I was passionate about that, but never really good at anything. You know, average to above average. But I enjoyed it, and I have mixed feelings about coaching because I always was coaching my. I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and I've coached a lot of sports, and coaching your own kid is not easy.
Well, because all of your insecurities are now
Exactly.
displaced
Not only
to
that,
the kids.
but exactly. But like, here you are needing to like pull them out of the game. There's an embarrassment factor. So like you say to the other coach, hey, my kid's terrible out there. You gotta go pull him.
Well, because it must be very hard to not give special treatments.
For sure. Yeah. You try.
How do you? How did you like raising boys versus girl? How is it different?
It's a good question, and I talk about it with my friends and their kids, and now with my kids going to be having kids. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because you love them the same, and depending on what age they are, but girls are emotional.
No kidding.
And so you have a period of time where there's some volatility in there. And then with boys, boys
from
are
0 to 99.
Right.
There's volatility with girls and emotions.
Boys are pigs. Boys are pigs. They're slobs. And, listen.
They destroy stuff too.
I got to say, I love being a dad. I am thrilled about being a grandfather. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
So your first ones were twins?
No.
My
first child is a girl.
Oh.
She's the one having the baby. And then twins. So we went from man-to-man defense to zone defense. And that was not easy, right?
Also,
especially when they were mobile. When they're mobile, they go in different directions.
They move fast, those little bastards.
Right. You got to deal with stairs, and you got to deal with all the things that they could touch and break, and it's a lot of work.
Did you
with the young kids?
Didn't one of them almost die at some point?
I'm sure.
It happens, right?
What's funny as I sit now and watch people in restaurants or in settings, you could always tell if it's their first kid or their second kid by either the way they're, making everything so perfect on the table, or the pacifier falls and they pull out a different one, or if it's the second or third kid, they put in the water and they just give it to the kid. And, the 5-second rule is 10 seconds and all that. But it's, kids are resilient. And, the one thing I would say that I regret, and that has been unfortunate, is being divorced when the kids are young, and not being so amicable. And that goes both ways. I'm not blaming my wife or ex-wife and I'm certainly taking responsibility. But if I could have done that again differently, I think it affects the kids. I'm not exactly sure how, but it does. And I wish that for everybody to, speaking from somebody who knows, to take the extra time and just try and make sure that they're good and that you're doing the right thing.
So well, also, if you see a crazy woman, look at the guy she's dating, and then that's going to tell you a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah, but I think most women are crazy.
Well, yeah, in their own way.
Yeah, well, that opens up a whole nother conversation, and I'm not going to have it on a podcast. And that is dating at my age. And
how is that going?
Well, we're not going to have that conversation because hold on, I have great stories. I just don't have the time because of the traffic.
Oh, okay, it's the traffic.
Yeah, no, I have nothing to hide. I have good stories. Not good. They're not good at all. Let's do it. For sure. Let's do it in Costa Rica. But when I tell family, friends, I had a really great conversation with my niece at the dinner table the other night here in Miami. And she's single at like 29. And we were comparing dating stories and online dating stories. And we were out of control laughing. and mine were just as funny as hers, and you would think they'd be different, but they're the same.
No, it's the same.
Right, exactly.
It's the same. You just started the race before.
Yeah, so I think it goes back to where we are in the world, with people are, God, they're odd. There's some wild, crazy people out there. I just, I think at this point, right at this point, I'm just keeping to myself. I'm staying in my lane. I'm keeping my head down. I am very focused. It's very clear what I'm doing. I'm very connected to myself and what I need to be doing, and I'm actually proud of that.
Protect your peace at all costs.
Yeah,
Very hard, especially today, to
exactly, and it takes effort. It takes effort. You have to. You're doing breath work. You're doing things to keep you there. It's so easy not to do that extra rep, not to show up, but you gotta stay in that in your lane, and you gotta trust, and it's hard to trust now too. So, it's judgment's really important. Just be aware.
Hmm.
What are you most excited about?
Excited about.
In the next couple months, next year? What are you looking
So
forward to?
interesting. I just finished on the plane coming here the Mel Robbins book, Let Them. And do you have audiobooks? Do you listen? Oh, okay. Because I
do a lot of audiobooks.
okay, because I can gift books to you if you have a subscription. So I'm happy to share. But first and foremost, being a grandfather, it's a weird feeling because I look at my grandparents. They're no longer around, but they were old. And I look in the mirror and I don't see old. I don't act old. I don't look old. I'm not old, but I'm old, right? I'm going to be a grandfather. So I'm excited about that. But if you read the Mel Robbins book and she talks about love, she talks about life, she talks about attitude, and really, if you believe that the best is yet to come, it's that's kind of exciting.
Yes.
I've always, I think that was a really good question, by the way, that you asked, because for my whole adult life, as a kid and as adult up until recently, I've always tried to commit to the outcome, stay with it, and make it kind of happen and just grind through it. And with all this practice of just being and some of the things that we've talked about on the podcast, I'm so much more content letting things just be. And exactly, ride the wave where it takes you. That's Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. And that's on my WhatsApp, that quote, because I'm riding the wave where it's going to take me, the path to enlightenment, right? You don't just go.
So that's your tattoo?
This one's an octopus.
How so? Why?
Because they're very smart and they're very adaptive.
Okay.
And then this is the path to enlightenment. And when I got this, I was off my path.
How old are you when you got the tattoos?
This one, maybe 8 years ago. I'm Jewish. And I had a stereotype in my life and my family, my friends, that you can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. And right. And that, that's old school. And then I married a woman that's got a lot of ink, and, she inspired me. And then when I felt disconnected and off my path, I wasn't planning, but I let an artist kind of come to me. And I said, she's like, would you like a tattoo? And I'm like, you know what? I would, and this is what I want. And it was just like that. So I'm excited because I'm living, I think, with the best version of me. And so what my future looks like is unsure, but I'm excited for all the possibilities.
And that's okay. It's not that it's unsure. I think, because I think that your future, you're creating it more than you think, than you realize. Because then you said you go with intention, and then you just trace the way.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? How?
You mean on social media?
Social media, website.
Well,
Say they want to buy something in Costa Rica.
Well, I have a website, michael.schatz.evrealestate. which allows you to see and search the MLS in Costa Rica and in Illinois, see listings and dabble around there. My Instagram is michael.schatz _real estate on Instagram and Facebook. And my personal Instagram is the Michael Schatz, where I'm doing more stories than anything, but sometimes I go on a photography binge where I'm so happy and proud, or something's unique. So yeah, I'm out there as an old guy trying to figure out how to keep up on social media, and I sometimes have to reference the 20-something-year-olds.
But it's difficult to do. But Michael, it was a pleasure.
I had
Thank
such
you.
a good
Thank you for
time,
being here.
and I appreciate both of you guys, and I look forward to more conversations and staying in touch and sharing stories and photos of your French bulldog, who I'm missing so much. And I'm telling you, I was playing with the dogs this morning, and I was telling my sister-in-law, Bruno. Yeah, and I walk into the room here, and there's a French bulldog staring at me. I'm like, oh, God.
They're the best.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Wish me
All
luck.
right.
Check in with me in a couple hours, see if I got to the restaurant.
Ciao, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.